All right. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. This is Desmond, my friend T.D. McIntosh. Now, how do you pronounce your last name? I keep forgetting how to pronounce your
McIntosh, you said it.
name. Okay, perfect. I want to make sure I wasn't copying like Apple, whatever. So, all right, cool. But
That's
yeah, you're
not the
here.
name I was fearful of you mispronouncing.
Oh, okay, no worries. So yeah, you're here with Desmond and T.D. McIntosh, and we're the creators of Sagas of Vaelora. Specifically, T.D. He's actually working on Koran the Exile, the Lord of Wolves, and so we're going to have some fun here talking about our book, talking about future projects and what we envision for the world. And also, I didn't really expect a lot of people to actually enjoy, what we got going on here. So I'm definitely looking forward to the live stream today. TD, if you want, because I'd say you're the most experienced author I've ever worked with and known personally. Go ahead and give yourself a little introduction. I'll just start after you.
well,
Experience and seniority goes to you first.
well, hey y'all, I'm TD McIntosh. I am a professional author, editor, proofreader, and manga writer. Everybody knows me from writing Exogenesis for Noir Caesar. Um, and those who've been following me lately know my work on Substack. At least I hope y'all do. And credentials, I have a BFA in writing and finishing up an MFA in writing. So Koran the Exile was like that literally came from me not being satisfied trying out D&D for the first time, and I made like my own version of Conan. So the campaign wasn't giving me like the creative inspiration I was looking for. So I literally just started writing a book with him.
Yeah. So Coram, when you envisioned, I know you got the idea from Conan the Exile. So obviously, the names are very similar too, though. So and then of course, it coming from an African perspective. You want to talk a little more about that too?
I got that idea from my wife, of all people. She's a Benin descent, even though she's French. And when we saw the Woman King, she was sitting up, well, not sitting up there. She was telling me about what they got right and what they got wrong, and just what I saw, and her passion for it, like just gave me the idea of how it would look in my head.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, all right. And so just to give you guys a little bit of background for me, I'm not as experienced as TD here. I'm just a guy with imagination and just a lot of tech know-how. So I've been writing books like non-professionally since I was about 5. So what I mean by that, my mom, she actually would write a lot. This has a lot to do with our faith and that sort of thing. And when I saw her write, I started writing too. And she got me into reading a lot of books from Redwall to Robin Hood to King Arthur, all these different books. And that really powered my way through my imagination. Is like, you know what, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to write. And so a lot of the things I've written, even superhero comics, I used to do manga too. That's actually my drawing style. I will always have like the sword, the knight type of style. Even when it came to ministry, I got like the Knights of God and this sort of thing. So all of that's really um, inspired by my love for fantasy, medieval knights, and all sorts of stuff. So when it came to making the Sagas of Vaelora, really this is inspired by my mother. She came up with the characters like Jane and Jim in the book. She also came with Baybex. So you guys may have seen that in the trailer, Baybex Merrifer. That's actually my mom's creation. The way that name came about was the original name was is as generic as possible. It was Baby Rabbit. And so over time, my mom was like, we're going to start calling him Baybex. So that's how that came about. And
I like that.
yeah. you know, and so over time, we just had this whole cast of characters that came from the names we given to stuffed animals I collected and that sort of thing as a kid. So like Timothy was actually the name of my stuffed teddy bear. He was an actual stuffed polar bear, and we named him Tim. And so a lot of the characters came from my childhood. Characters I create. And so my mom, I think it was like last year, she was, making fun, like, you know what, people would probably like, the stories we create, if you put this into a book or into like an animated series. And so with the, advancement of AI, of course, I started working on, little videos and that sort of stuff, just for my own entertainment. And then after that, I started to write the book, The Burrow of the Blade. I said, you know what, let me just have more fun with that. And really, that was just really a stress reliever. I said, I haven't really written anything like seriously since I was like, my teen years. So I started writing it out. And then I just put a blurb on a group. And all of a sudden, like thousands of people were like, oh, I love this. I love this. I'm like, really? Okay. I'm gonna just go ahead and keep writing then. I'm gonna take this a little more serious. And so through all that, that's how I met TD. And he asked me to collab with him, and we started doing Koran as a separate offshoot of Burrow of the Blade. And then one day we're just like, why not just put both of them together? I got humans in my world, there's magic, all that stuff. He got the same thing. We just kind of combined them together, and now we're working on Burrow of the Blade, and now after that it will be Koran, the Lord of Wolves. So yeah, that's how I got this started, and that's how I met TD. And it's been pretty good ever since, man. I've really been enjoying working with you. Really quick, just as a shout out to Aurora out there. Now I got to give it up to Aurora. She's been consistently saying hello and liking the post and just really giving her feedback.
She's been a trooper.
She really has been, man. I really appreciate that, especially coming from. For me personally, and you can give your perspective on that. Like for me personally, as a guy who has never done anything professionally on that level, to see people actually enjoy it and giving their opinion and doing all these sort of things and staying high on a consistent basis, I really do appreciate that. No doubt. I really do appreciate that.
Yeah, just seeing people just, enjoying it. And, oh, hey, Darian. Just seeing people enjoying it and just engaging with it. That's why we say, us indie authors, the best thing you can do for us is review our books and give your thoughts. That would help us do more. And say, we're not asking for much, just a little bit of attention. That's really as simple as it is.
Right. And the other part of that is too, like, we're just having fun. It's twofold actually. It's part, having fun and also taking this as a serious venture. I know for me, like I said, I'm not a professional writer, so I just started doing it for fun. But for TD, he's taking it more professionally, and that's actually what makes it really good, because he has the expertise where I don't, and he can see things that I would actually miss. So the partnership has been really good, because like, whereas he may take things a little too serious, I'm like, bro, we got it. Chill out,
Hey, Connie.
It's been cool, man. We even each other out for sure.
Hey, Connie. But yeah, everything you've been doing great. I've not had to teach you at all. I mean, how can I, Lord? It's like every time I want to say something to like say my experience, it always sounds like I'm insulting somebody. Let's just say
you ready to trust me. I got thick skin. Go ahead, man.
No, not against you. I mean other people.
Oh yeah,
it's just like how can I say? I just want to I haven't had to teach you anything or say, hey, that don't sound right. No, you've been consistently surprising me with everything you presented.
And that's actually something I was kind of concerned about. I'm gonna be honest with you. At first, I was kind of concerned about. I was like, why is he liking everything I say? Have some sort of criticism. I thought honestly, is this guy just placating me?
If I see it, I'll point it out. But so far, there hasn't been anything. I'm just going like, he probably think I'm just like not really reading what he's saying. And I said, I'm up here doing my best to try to commit everything to memory. It'll go like, nah, I don't think he want me to do that. But so far, he's been surprising me.
Man, that's perfect. That's good. Yeah, so let's get into this a little bit about the Vaelora. Obviously, most of the lore I created, but you've been adding yours as well. So I think we both came to the same conclusion as far as like core themes and our inspirations. Like for example, our shared faith in Christ is actually one of the things that helps motivate us when it comes to creating this book. Whereas the book isn't preachy at all, and you wouldn't even know if I didn't tell you that there is a Christian undertone to it, unless you are a Christian yourself, and you'll see some of those things there.
And you start catching it, yeah.
Right. Yeah. So you want to kind of give your, I guess you'd say your perspective on Vaelora, since you just coming in, you're getting immersed, and you're putting your characters into it. What's your perspective on it? How, where do you see it going? What's some of your core things you see put into it?
First, I want to answer Darian's questions.
Yeah,
We're not quite done with Burrow and the Blade or Koron yet. We're working on it, but trust me, we'll be shopping things around. So follow the page, follow the Sagas of Vaelora page, and I'm glad you're working back on your book. Don't stop writing, even if you write a little bit, like say 10 words. You wrote those 10 words, and yes, Christian allegories. So for me, themes are basically no matter how low you get, God's always right there with you to help you right back up. And no matter what you face, give it to God. You can defeat anyone.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, I say that because there's a channel I watch called Terminal Montage. Shout out to Terminal Montage. He does like his animations of video games he played, and he does one of Kirby. So there, on his first video of Kirby, somebody said stop with all the Christian allegories because he decided to make Kirby like Christian, like you are my best and greatest creation, and Kirby just go Poyo. So and then like literally he defeats a boss that is like galactic level who who goes like while you were sucking everything up like a fat boy at a golden corral, I gathered all the star power in the universe and became God. And then it's like everything he's throwing at Kirby doesn't work. Then all of a sudden Kirby hits him with the literal word, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man may come to the Father except through me. And it's like click, defeat.
Right.
So this latest video that almost brought a tear to my eye, there's a part where Kerbo is fighting the current villain and he absorbs a bus full of nuns. Then he starts singing Awesome God by oh Lord, I forgot his name. Let me look right quick.
I know who you're talking about. My mom and I used to listen to all the time.
Awesome God by Michael Stuckley. And he's using a part in it is saying what the devil has said for evil, God will turn it around and you will declare him and the nuns are singing holy as they're flying towards the villain, and they're praising God so hard that God's hand literally takes the wheel and rams into the villain and blows him up.
I'm going to check that out. I've never actually seen that one. So yeah, when you get after this, send me a link so I can take a look at that.
So it's like things like that where the scripture is being told in full in this context. And if you sit and just look at it going like, oh, okay, and it teaches you something, give it to God. It will help. It will literally help. It is that simple. People don't realize how simple it is. When you start having anxiety, that's the complete antithesis to what you're thinking. God's like, why are you thinking that? I got you. Stop worrying.
Right. No, I like that. I know I like that quite a bit. So yeah, you can definitely see that in the book itself too. So
hey Tyreek. Oh, that's my boy Tyreek right there.
Oh yeah, what's going on, Tyreek? And also, just really quick shout out to we had about 9, almost 10, about 10 people on. So I just want to shout out everybody. I appreciate you guys for being on. Those who know TD here, and those who subscribe to the channel, definitely appreciate you guys being here. So yeah, we're just going over the background of the Sagas of Vaelora and some of our core themes. For me, you guys already know one of the major inspirations for me was Redwall. Outside of my mother, it would be Redwall. If you are a Redwall fan or anything like that, you guys know about Martin the Warrior. You guys know about Matthias. You guys know about Matameo, his son. And you know about the author Brian Jacks. You know about Constance the Badger. You know, all those characters that we all grew up with. They were all inspirations for me when creating the Burrow and the Blade. Now, I didn't want to, make it one for one. I wanted this to be like a darker, more grown-up version of that. Has some inspirations also from like Tolkien, for example. If you got, well, a lot of you guys probably don't know just yet, but there's a lot of lore that we put into the story. So there's a lot of history. Yeah. You guys should see the story about we have for ourselves. Like there's a lot of stuff here. Like for example, there's another video I made called Feast of Ash, and this is detailing the fall of the Empire of Unveiled. The Empire of Unveiled was a human empire that was so powerful. They were putting beast folk under its thumb. They were enslaving different groups and whatnot, and they just thought no one can touch them until the Passport came around. Exactly. And you guys can kind of see it too. When you guys first see that video, you see like this look of distraught on the man's face as the camera just moves into him, and he's sitting at this fireplace, and he's talking about like we were so prideful, we thought we couldn't be touched, and then of course you see like the past guard, the cannibalistic boar folk just eating and destroying and whatnot. And so really, and this goes back to what TD was just talking about, my inspiration from scripture, pride comes before the fall. Mm-hmm. And so we as human beings, I see us all, especially if you look at America today, I think that's a really good example. Americans in general were really prideful. And so let me show that in this, in this part of history. And we see that also. I've looked at like the Roman Empire, the Mongols, and all these sort of things. Everyone has something in common. They thought they couldn't be touched.
To add on to that, in Koron, his nation, well, his country, the country of Savaroth, even though they were good people, they were still prideful. And Koron, doing his duty was prideful until he got brought low. So now he has to build himself back up and acknowledge that he can't do this alone.
Right.
I mean, honestly, I wanted to make my own version of Kratos, Greek era Kratos, him folding people. But then it's like every time I do something, I'm going like, oh crap, did I just like go overboard with Koron? Then Desmond going like, no, bro, this is great, man, this is great. And I'm going like, Koron's literally a Super Saiyan now. No, we need this. And then he just goes into a spiel about power scaling, and I'm going like, Lord, don't get me started on power scaling. I'm going like, Tyreek, you and I know we can just go on and on about power scaling because people get power scaling so wrong sometimes. So I'm glad you actually know how to power scale.
Right. There's at least like 7 tiers, and so we'll get into that too, talking about the gods and that sort of stuff. The lesser deities, the elder races. I'm not going to get too deep into the elder races because I want that to be explored probably like a later time. But
it said mad OP. Yep. But Koron isn't mad OP. I would say by the end of the story, he's as strong as Kratos is going into the Norse saga, being able to fold stuff where he's like 1/8 its size, but he can't one-shot stuff.
Right.
And if you look at my background, that's Koron, and that's his wife Neshima.
We're gonna get into that too, though, because So really quick, just to add on to what you were saying, so like TD, he was worried about that being about his character being OP. Now, if you read the story though, right, you would think he was OP, but then once you start to see the other villains, because here's the thing, I'm also a big fan of H.P. Lovecraft, right? So I wanted to add that element into the story, right? I wanted
the crap you came up with was just scary, bro. I'm gonna just say that right now.
Yeah, because so like outside of the Bible, the Bible is one of my inspirations. You have the end times, you have this fight between God and Satan, that sort of thing. But so I wanted to do something a little bit different on that in my story. Obviously, I didn't want to be one for one. So I came up with these abyssal entities. You guys know about Cthulhu and all these other characters that H.P. Lovecraft created. So I'm gonna make my own.
Crap, that ain't supposed to be here.
Right. And so use that as my inspiration, these entities. It's not even just all about power. It's also about mental endurance as well. They will try you in so many different ways and tempt you. As a matter of fact, in the book, one of my characters, Lily, which is the feline cat that you guys see, she is tormented by her past because she was once a slave. She was sold to the past guard for their feast pits. And so in other words, the feast pits is where they put all the slaves in so they can cook them together and eat them as a tribe. And so she ends up escaping that and then finds Desirel. And so that's how they eventually find Bebex Marifer. They go off and they were called to help them out, and they all become this party. But Lily, she becomes tormented by this being called the Black Maw. Now, I'm gonna let you guys go ahead and read the book itself, but the Black Maw ain't no joke. It's pretty much the um like this. I'm not sure how to say it.
The Black Beast from Blaze Blue.
There you go. Yeah, yeah. It's like it's just basically it's a concept. It's the gods and entities here are more than just like physical beings. They're concepts. So like like for example, Marvel has like you have the concept of eternity, you have the concept of death, and these are literal beings. But at the same time, you can't exactly kill them here. They go way beyond that unless you're on their same level, right?
Mhm.
So in my book, you have Alorian, which is the god of all, who brings the whole creation into existence by using songs, which is a Tolkien reference. So you guys read the Silmarillion, I pretty much use that same idea. And so it spawns gods as well. And so by the end of that creation period, there's an abyssal war. So these entities from beyond, they try to invade. They want to go ahead and destroy our creation. They want to consume. But Lorien, he gives us life, and then he shatters into like pieces that scattered across the universe. And some of those become artifacts. Some of those become sparks within characters that make them a whole lot more than what they are. And so with Koron, and this is the concept I was presenting to TD, like Koron, he also would contain one of those sparks, which will also make it possible for him to have that much power. Right, a normal mortal wouldn't have the power that Koron has unless he has divine help, and so
Exactly.
this divine help is unknown to him at this point. But that's how he was able to do that.
With Koron, Koron's birth was like so much levels of jacked up. As he was literally coming through the birth canal, a Dark Lord was literally trying to pull him down to hell, and Aurelion was trying to pull him up. So he was literally caught between both ends and just literally pulled into the world. And just from then on, is like Ulkoth, the Dark Lord, the Abyssal Lord, is going like, "Oh, you're not meant to do this. You're meant to follow me." And Koron's going like, "No, I'm not going with that." So, for all intents and purposes, Ulkoth was trying to turn Koron into the Antichrist.
And just to answer this real quick too, though, I'm surprised we got some Warhammer people that understand. So like Chaos Demons and Warhammer.
Lord, I
More
don't
like
know anything about Warhammer other than what I played.
Warhammer is awesome, bro. Yeah, you got
I know.
so yeah, like the Black Maw would be like a combination of Nurgle and I'm not sure there's a chaos god that would represent gluttony. I'm not sure, but I guess Nurgle will also encompass that too, though, because he has a lot of bloating mass and whatnot. So I guess Nurgle would be a good example, but the Black Ball goes further than Nurgle does. But yeah, I do use some of those concepts as well. So yeah, that's a good catch right there.
Oh yeah, to follow up on gods. When we say gods, we say we're using small g. Lord, I can't pronounce his name. Our creator God. He
Uh,
is our Yahweh.
Alorion, there you go.
Because I thought I messed it up back there. Alorion,
Yeah, you
because I
got it.
hadn't said it out loud. So when I came into this, my gods were Orisha, and I handled them like how the Olympians keep sounding to me, like just people with superpowers that think they're above people, but not God. Like literally, a demigod can fold them, and so that's just basically how I handled it. So basically, these people that have reached such a level of divine influence that they're sitting above normal people in terms of skill and feat, but they're not, let's say, gods. Like, they're not begotten of the creator. They
Right.
kind of are, but they're not, you would bow and declare them holy. You would say Elorion is the one at top. I
Right.
don't know if I
No,
parsed that well.
no, you got it. You got it. No, you're right. So Lauren would be on top, and everyone else is pretty much in servitude to him. There is a satanic figure, but I changed the satanic figure a bit, where he's not where he has like this misconstrued view of justice. Now, This character is called Garvash, and he was also one of the what I call the Ashen Saints. The Ashen Saints would include Vaelora, which she helped create the world. You got Telros, who helped create the constellations. There's actually like three others as well that fell during the Abyssal War. And then there was some other ones that kind of like went into the abyss and never came back. Nobody knows what happened to them. And so Garvash, so he looked at creation. He said, "This is all perverted. This is all just, he hated the creation." And so he turns against his creator and says, we need to just wipe everything out. So of course, Elorion couldn't have that. So he banishes Garvash to the abyss, and he seals the abyss with a veil with his own blood. Now, during this time since then, that veil has been weakening. And this will all end up into, of course, as every fantasy would have, is this end time war, which we call the end song war. And you guys read more about that in the book itself. So it's just a lot of additions in there. And one of the goals here was that I wanted to do something that was kind of unique, right? I didn't want to do elves, dwarves, orcs, and that sort of thing. I wanted to do something that hasn't really been done normally. So using anthropomorphic characters like rabbits, hamsters, and whatnot, but give them their own civilizations, give them their own religion, give them their own thoughts, make them more than just these cutesy characters they usually see on Disney or something like that. No, these guys got trade routes. They have political issues. They have all this stuff, and on top of that, what you do, you infuse a lot of that, their animalistic behavior into their society. So they're distinct from humans. You know what you're dealing with, but at the same time, they're more than just what you normally see when it came to, Disney or something like that. So in respect to Brian Jacks, who's the creator of Redwall, if you notice, you have stoats, you have weasels and stuff like that, foxes that are evil, right? And then you have mice, you have badgers, ferrets that are good. But in my world, I want it to be more ambiguous, right? I didn't want every mouse you meet to be good. I want every rat you meet to be evil. I wanted you to kind of figure that out on your own, right? Not everything you see, and this works out in real life. Just because something looks bad doesn't mean it's bad, and everything that looks good doesn't mean it's actually good. You have to look deeper beyond the skin. So that's
like,
kind of
imagine getting folded by a big lion dude. Not like a big lion, a lion that can run after you on his hind legs and still be fast, if not faster. Just imagine getting creased by that.
Oh yeah, let me show, because some people probably don't know what we're talking about when we're talking about the lion.
I'm trying to find a picture with Coron standing like face to face with Timothy.
Oh yeah. Let's show that real quick. I have that picture here. Let me see here.
Yes, for the life of me, I don't know where I put it.
Here we go. I got it. Here we go. I'm gonna open up these two so you guys can see it. So you got Coron, and he's standing next to Timothy, and also I'll show you when he's standing next to Lily. So here is Timothy and Coron here. So you guys can kind of imagine that. Polar bears in general are scary anyway, but just imagine one that can stand on his hind legs, got all the strength as a polar bear would, but yet.
and Coron's going like, "You're big. I fought bigger."
Right. And if you guys read the book too, like both these guys are like just like they throw hands. They throw hands as far as in their perspective stories. Coron is over there, using his tactical know-how and of course his strength in order to win battles. Timothy is like this. Well, he's a bear, so he's a beast out there.
He's a bear. Coron's motif is a wolf. He serves basically a wolf orisha or goddess or figure. So basically the know-how of a man who's been inundated in combat with the prowess, speed, strength, and cunning of a wolf.
Yeah, there we go. And I'm gonna show you guys Lily here. Now, if you guys, when you guys read the book, Lily is now. Don't let her cute appearance, deceive you guys. She's a very violent soul. When it comes to like defending her own people.
Crash out energy.
Exactly. Right. There's a scene where I'm not gonna give you guys everything, but there's a scene
telling me about her. I'm going like, she is such a crash out. You just had to come to terms with that.
There's a scene where her master, the guy that she's always with, he gets hurt, and she just turns into like this demon of just death, and she just starts just wrecking everybody, right? this is really inspired by my own cat. So this is where Lily came from. I'm gonna tell you how this came about. So I had hired a maid to come over to my house and clean it up for me, right? And so it was an older white lady. She comes up to my door, and I open it, right? Lily, she comes up in front of me, gets on her hind leg, like not hind legs, but like her back is arched and everything. She never does this to anybody except to this one lady. I'm like, what's wrong with you? Like, she would not let this lady pass. And so I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna use that same energy, her protective nature, and put this in this book. So that's how Lily came about. And the reason why she has his hair on top of her head was because one of my friends, her kid, saw Lily and saw this this black, her black fur on top of her head. And she started calling her hairstyle kitty cat. And so
Wow.
I'm like, all right, I like it. So so I'm about to go and put that in there. So yeah, there's a lot of silliness as to how all this came about, y'all. My art is just a bunch of crazies. I know people who are crazy in a creative sense, and we're just like, yeah, let's just throw that in there and see how that looks. And so
then,
after that, I just kept it going.
and then we got Coron here murking one of the, I forgot the name of the pig people.
The Pasgar.
Pasgar, thank you.
Yeah.
If we can.
Hold on one sec.
Yeah, Coron's just up there going to work on them. And Desmond like went back in one of my chapters going like, hey, instead of him fighting these people, let him fight the Pasgar. And I said, you know what? That will work because they're basically in a Coliseum now. So he needs some animals to fold.
Right. and the Pasgar is they're not no pushovers, y'all. Like, don't think like Coron's just having an easy time. No, like the Pasgar's folding everybody else besides Coron and his warband, right?
I
Like,
mean,
go ahead.
Coron is just up there socking people. You know how you would sock. I want to say the best instance I have is of you trying to sock a Terminator, then it just looking at you like nigga. And Darian, you didn't miss much. We talking about how our characters are crash outs.
Right. And to Aurora's comment, she said creepy guys. And yeah, that's kind of the thing too, though. Like when I'm creating some of the characters, I didn't want them to be just generic, like orcs and stuff like that. I wanted you to feel like, well, when you read the story, you'll feel the dread when you read about these characters.
Oh, show the elephant that attacks Coron's people.
Oh yeah. Hold on, I didn't upload any of those pictures here, so yeah. let me upload some of these pictures here, so you guys can kind of see. I should have put all this into like one folder where it was just ready.
Well, we use Obsidian. They're all in one folder. You just got to find that folder.
Yeah. Now, if I was able to, like, you know what? There is a way. There is a way. So I'm gonna share my screen with you guys.
Oh, and Marion, my wife, thinking about you, girl. She asked, "What is the plot for the story?"
Okay, so for the Burrow and the Blade, basically, if I'm just gonna give like a little short synopsis, there's a rabbit, and the rabbits, their civilization name is the Lopari. The Lopari is part of the United Burrowlands, and he's part of like this major family, the Meriford family. And so the Eldorian kingdom, they summon one of the Meriford representatives. And so Baybax, he suggests, hey, I'll go, for the family, whatnot, because if we don't go, our economy is going to crash. They wanted to go ahead and destroy our economy. And so he goes. They send him off with a couple of companions, which was Desirel and Lily. They go off west, and so what they find themselves is they're getting caught up in this abyssal war that's brewing in behind the scenes, which they are unaware of. And they go into Hollowbrook. They find out things about his brother that was been missing for 5 years. He's trying to figure out what happened to my brother. Let me say this really quick. His brother is probably the most interesting character you guys are going to read about. I'm not going to tell you guys anything about it. All you guys are going to know is that he's been missing for 5 years, and they're wondering what happened to him. Like he was supposed to go on a mission, and then he just disappears. What you find out is that there's a whole lot more that that pertains to the gods, that pertains to other worldly powers out there, and they're all caught in the middle of all this. And so, really, this is a story that contains elements of slavery. It contains elements of racism. There's elements of religious extremism. There's ideas of true religion. There's elements of what family actually means, because this is a very traditional family unit right here. Like, you got the mother and the father, they love each other very much, but the events of the world is threatening to break them apart as a family. So they're trying to stick together while all at the same time trying to solve the issues of the world that they're in. So hopefully, and there's one other way I can actually show you guys the plot of the movies, or the plot of the book. So let me show you guys this. I finally got it to work. It's about 3 minutes long. Yeah, finally, right? I think I got this thing to work. If you guys haven't seen it, a lot of people have seen it so far. I got a lot of likes on this thing, so I hope you guys enjoy. So I'll go ahead and mute ourselves here and show you guys what we got. I'll put this in the background really quick.
Over 2,000 years ago, Meris Brightpaw stood alone against the darkness, her blade a beacon, her courage the flame that held back an age of ruin. They called her legend, they buried her in story, but flame remembers its shape. And now, in a time of rising shadow, that fire stirs again, within an unsuspecting young merchant named Baybax Merifer.
He was always better at this. I don't care how far he's gone. I'm going to find him, or I'll find what he left behind.
Go, I have your shadow. Godspeed, Cat.
I swore by the name of the Sunfather that I will see the death of every last Pasgar filth in this world.
They crawl, they whimper, they mimic our cities and call it civilization, but they are beasts, cloaked in stolen tongues and borrowed steel. Only man was shaped to rule.
Fear is no shame, Baybax. I felt it. Every warrior working memory has. But you must choose, not just to stand, but to become. You are not your brother. You are not me. You are something new. And when you rise, Baybax Merifer, I will stand with you, young flame.
So yeah, that's it, guys. You guys can kind of see his evolution from like this simple merchant to being like this, character that's just thrown into war, and he's like, what is going on here, right? You see him like being timid, you see him being upset by the devastation he sees, because he just wants to go ahead and count ledgers. He wants to go ahead and and trade and share his his goods from his homeland. He wasn't built for this. He's been tossed into like this battle for his life. So yeah. So that's basically what it's about. You guys can definitely, if you guys are familiar with Redwall, you guys can see the inspiration too with the mouse mirrors Bright Paw. I definitely got the idea from Brian Jacks, but at the same time made her my own. For one, it's a girl. I did that on purpose because when I was developing the character, I gave her white hair, and I was like, you know what? She'd be better looking. The character looked better looking like this. So she got this white hair, and a lot of people liked it, so I kept it that way. And she becomes this guy, this warrior, and on top of that, when she appears in the story, she comes with a very, very powerful impact. So you guys will definitely see that when you guys read that. But yeah. Judy, what's your thoughts, man?
Well, clearly he's been working on his a lot longer than mine because my trailer for Koron isn't ready yet.
Right. I'm still working. I'm actually working on his too, though. So I would definitely say when it comes to using like these animation tools and AI and all that, it costs a lot of money. So I've been trying.
We are not graphic designers. we are cobbling this together with so many tools just to make it look decent.
Right. I've been working on computers since I was like 5 years old. So I built my first website when I was about 8. Built my first computer when I was 11. So while I wouldn't call myself a graphic designer or anything like that, when it comes to this stuff in particular, I do use AI tools like, for example, Kling. There's Minimax, there's Midjourney, et cetera. But then you also have to have the technical know-how of like Adobe Premiere, because you got to put all that stuff together. You have to have a cohesive story. So what we use AI for is to help visualize the world, so that way people can see it. But at the same time, there's a lot of effort that goes beyond that. That's human oriented. So yeah.
Darren wants to know who made the background.
So it was a combination of my work and towards the AI there. So the AI it animates the background for me, and so I just kind of like use my own stuff in order to make it look better. So yeah,
like I was seeing him basically paint everything together, and I'm going this is a very useful tool. I like it.
Right. And so also show you guys too, because I know there were some people that are like anti-AI. So let me also show you guys something from some artists that's been working with us as well. So for this one here, Adriano Barrera, he made this, hold on one second here, this map for me. And this is the map of Calador. This is where the story takes place. And so right here in the United Burrowlands, where you see Fleetfoot Hollow, that's where Baybax comes from. He's traveling west through the borderlands. He's trying to reach the Kingdom of Adori, which is all the way to the west. And so I would say the bulk of the story is taking place in the borderlands and also partly here in United Burrowlands here. So again, Adriano Barrero, check him out on Fiverr, a very good artist. And on top of that, I got another friend who is actually doing a few illustrations for me. He's a very, very good artist as well. So you guys will see a combination of both human and AI use when it comes to visualizing the world.
Yeah. Darius said he's used AI to make images, but he'd like it to look like that. Oh, we've went in on trying to make it get our current vision on how it is. It's like Darian, I'm about to say Darren. Desmond showed me so much, and I just experimented. I'm finally getting Koron how I want him to look, and that picture back there, that's my best effort.
And here's the thing too, though, because what you see on the internet, because this kind of gets into a whole different discussion here. So I'm gonna try to make it brief. I know a lot of people that hate AI, and here's the thing. I personally hate when people use AI and is very lazy with it, right? So you see all these different glitches and stuff like that. Some things you can't help, but you can clearly see that somebody didn't put no effort behind what they were doing at all, and they just kind of put something together and it's tossed on the internet. That's not what I'm going to do.
And talking about this me right here.
Right.
and to answer Marion's question, Koron, he is kind of an outlier because he's one of the few humans that has divine inspiration and is how he is. So eventually he's going to get with Baybax and the other heroes, and they're going to be well, he's going to be a part of their war bound the way that he understands it. So like Koran, his story is like how he came to join them. Basically, it's more like his origin story. But are there other people who are opposing the anthropomorphic beings? Well, in Koran's land, they're few and far in between, but they got too much to worry about to try to enslave somebody. So
Right.
again, that's white people issues.
I will say too. Now that doesn't mean, like, for example, where Lily comes from, her people also enslaves, and the reason why I got that way is because how cats are with people. They don't look at us as their owners. They look at us as their slaves. So I put that as part of their culture as well. And so basically what I did too, I did a lot of research as far as how slavery was done back in the days of, like, the Bible or Rome and stuff like that. And there's different ways it was practiced. So you guys will definitely see tough hitting issues in different cultures and that sort of thing, how they approach different things. So not every culture is the same. You'll definitely see, like, for example, you may see a mouse that has like these dog slaves, whatever. Like, how's that possible? Well, it's because he got all these different mercenaries that work for him because he has a lot of money. So, the issues in Vaelora is a lot more complicated than one would assume reading a book that's based on anthropomorphic animals, right?
And I'm just reminded of this cartoon called Bravest Warriors, right? And in it, there's a character named Catbug, and Catbug is all cutesy and a little kid. But then one of the characters start jumping timelines, and there's one where Catbug is like first a Starfleet commander, then an overlord, going like, Officer Vasquez, control your lady friend. This this deck is no place for a woman. And talking about woman, what? Do not be. What you said? I demand you are in a position to demand nothing, Kitchen Witch Tezuka.
Man, let me say this, bro. You're very good with the Japanese names, man. I suck with that. Go ahead, though.
And then the next timeline is the Overlord talking about what? Someone threw that nosy thing out the airlock. Talking about, nope, out the airlock. You have failed me for the last time, Pleasure Cold Tezuka. Do not make me regret the day I bought you from Winches and Things. I said, wait, Winches and Things. Yeah, now where's my big old beer? That he gets like a big mug of beer that's like 3 times the size. Yes. And I'm just going like, cats really think they got it like that too.
They do. They really do, man. Yeah, my cat, she finally went to see. I'm surprised she didn't come up here to say hi and whatnot, because every time I go live, she usually jumps up on here and get in front of the camera. But yeah, she's not doing it today.
My wife said when she was in France, she lived with these people who had a black cat, and the cat kept on looking at her. And I'll go like, then look back. As long as he don't do nothing, look back.
Right. And I'm going to show you guys another thing in a little bit, but I'll probably, like, towards the end, I'll show you guys the other video I had out there. But really quick, I want to talk about the magic too, though, because people were asking before, like, is there magic in the world and that sort of thing. The magic system is pretty, and it's still in the process of being more fleshed out, whatnot.
Yeah, shut up.
So magic in the world is there is viewed differently depending on the culture you're from. And so the story where Koran takes place is on the continent of how you say it, Dajamora? Is that how you say it? Dajamora? How you say it?
Yeah.
Jamora. Jamora, yeah. The D is silent. That's right. So Jamora. The D, right, and then what do they call magic over there? Eshera?
Eshera. But
Eshera,
yeah.
okay.
Talking about it was looking menacingly. Look back menacingly.
And so.
Uh-oh. Oh, Lord. Desmond and froze. Bro, you froze. Oh, goodness. Desmond, why did you leave me here? Oh, my goodness. Well, let me bring up my notes on Eshera if y'all are still here. Oh, Lord. Thank you. Oh my goodness, Desmond, you lagged out. So Eshida is the spiritual force woven into the world by the creator. For the life of me, I cannot say his name. Elorion. Thank you. And it's not energy. It's a current of divine will. Oh, there he goes. It's a current of divine will. Mary talking about it was probably the cat.
No, I accidentally kicked it out. That was my fault, y'all. Sorry.
Oh wow. So how it works, it's a contract of blood and bond, basically. So how they do it is like you're always making like a pact, a promise. Like with Koron and his war bond, they're together as a group. They're bound by a meeting of blood and a promise to support each other until their goals are met. And Koron is also he's on his deity or his patron saint. It's better to call them saints than gods. Basically, that's how he gets his physical attributes. He was bonded to her at birth so that he could grow into a wise and powerful king, a cunning and powerful king. I mean,
let me see. Oh, okay, here we go.
So it's always like what you offer, what they can offer, and how you can meet in the middle. That's how the magic goes. Now, for the villains, they pervert everything. They literally just say, "What can you offer? Okay, give me all of that. What can I offer? Screw you."
Right. They don't care at all. I would say there are instances where people will misuse magic. Now, like we were saying, it is so in Jamora, it is treated differently. However, it's all the same power. So essentially, as Caldorians will understand it, there's three forms of it. You have essence, you have ethereal, and then you also have abyssal. Abyssal is not true magic in the sense that we understand it. Abyssal magic comes from the beyond the void. So if you're worshiping the entity, the Black Maw, if you're worshiping Abyssal or something along those lines, they will give you power that is overwhelming, but it will corrupt your very soul, right?
And eventually it will require a dire sacrifice. Like right. One of the ones who follow Abyssal, who is basically like a vampire entity. She has no eyes. Like if you look at her, everything is hollow in there. So just imagine that. You want power and you go blind.
Right.
And the way she moves around, she's listening to the blood pulse in people's bodies.
Let me see. Hold on. I'm gonna show this character really quick.
Yeah, I was about to say, where is she?
I don't have Abyssal though. I got my sorceress here. I can show that really quick. Hold on real quick. So the sorceress and the burrow and the blade, I'm going to show you her normal form, like how she is normally perceived. And I'll also show you what she looks like when she's just going wild, right? So this is her appearance here. So at the beginning of the book, you'll see her here on the left. That's how she normally would look. But on the right is when she, as T.D would say, when she crashes out and she goes wild. That's what she looks like, and that's what the abyssal magic does to a person. It completely changes who you are and how you are seen. In her case, she doesn't go crazy, but she is a conduit for the Black Maw. So her power is absolutely ridiculous. And over time, if no one kills her, if she's left to her own devices, she is a world-ending threat. So even her own people, I'm not going to tell you who they are, but even her own people are horrified of her because of how powerful she's getting right now. But
it just reminds me of a conversation I had with my friend Tariq. We were talking about stuff about Resident Evil, and then he said, imagine you doing all that to get superpowers, then you turn into a big slug monster. I'd be pissed.
Right, that's basically what it is. Right. And at the same time, you lose who you are as a person. So whoever she was in the past, she doesn't have any recollection of. She basically all she is the Black Maw. She is the harbinger of the Black Maw. That's her duty. Whatever whatever her reasoning was to attain that power, that's irrelevant now because she is completely her soul is completely gone at this point. She's soulless. She's being used right now.
Oops.
Right. And so let me just read this little part for you guys as well. So essence magic is pretty much like just basic magic. So you have like nature, you have earth, you have wind, you have fire, all that's inside essence magic, and that can also come out as different things too. Like for example, illusion magic. So I'm gonna read these few lines here from the Burrow and the Blade, so you guys can kind of understand. This is like early on in chapter 1. And this is when Baybex is showing off his ability to use illusion magic. And it says, Baybex grinned, ears perking up. If there was one thing he excelled at, it was illusion magic. But not the harsh, willful magic of the ether mages, but was something deeper and gentler. He closed his eyes and breathed deeply, feeling for the essence of this place. The training yard where he played as a kid, where his father had first taught him to hold a blade, where generations of Merrifer children had learned to fight. The very earth remembered their footsteps, their laughter, their determination, and with enough respect and emotional connection, it would share those memories. Baybex extended his paws, not commanding the magic, but negotiating with it, drawing on the warm memories embedded in the soil beneath his feet. This was the heart of Burrowfolk illusion magic, not creating falsehoods, but borrowing truths from the memory of the place. The air shimmered with the golden motes that seemed to rise from the ground itself, carrying with them the scent of childhood summers and whisper echoes of old lessons. And so Baybex, he asks them to do this. He says, show me who I was, he murmured to the essence of the place, so I might know who I am becoming. The golden light swirled around him, and suddenly there were 3 identical copies of Baybex materializing, not the harsh projections of will, but gentle echoes of memory. So in Vaelora, memory is very important. Memory is more than just things that you hold in your mind, things that you remember, but it's actually a part of the whole magical system. You can actually borrow from those memories and they can become living, well, not living, but they call it living memories. So like, for example, I can visualize like my past grandmother, and she can come into existence just by that power. And she can fight for me. She can do all sorts of stuff. But all those things are dependent on whether you are in proper communion with the earth itself. So that's Burrow folk magic. And the reason why I did it that way is because obviously rabbits and all that, they're really connected to the ground. That's their home, whatnot. So I connected their magic the same way.
And more about magic, at least how I wrote my side of it. Magic is relational. Like it deepens with bonds. That's the whole thing, bonds. That ties back into our overarching theme of family. You're looking for that connection, even if you never had it. So you're forming a bond with something you don't understand in the hopes that it will reciprocate. And like a solitary person may have power, but they don't have depth. So the strongest wielders are those whose lives are entangled with others. So Koron, he knew this. First thing he did was found other people in his situation because of the story. I don't think I talked about the plot of Koron's story, have I?
Not yet. Mm-mm.
So basically, Koron is the king of Savaroth. He's the lord of wolves. Like all wolves obey him, and there's a prophecy where he's supposed to fall to darkness and Savaroth falls to ruin. And when that day comes, he's in battle and he's encouraged to basically blow this horn, this magical horn that's supposed to protect the land. But Koron is seeing it's not doing that. It's actually summoning Ulkath from the depths. It's summoning the abyssal entities. So he breaks it. And in the process, Savaroth is getting ransacked and his wife is basically taken captive by the Abyssal Lord. And to make matters worse, everybody blames him. Like
Right.
everybody who he followed, those who were supposed to answer to him, blamed him. So he's exiled, and basically he has to go to the very edges of Savaroth and into the greater lands of Jamara to figure out what's going on. Then he gets captured by the villains, his tendons cut, and then as he's like, trying to heal, his patron saint is healing his wounds and basically saying, you're not meant to fall here, Wolf King. You're meant for something greater. And so from then on, he forges his Warbound, which is basically people from across Jamara who've been living lives that are, savage at best, but doing their best, and they all get caught by Lord, I don't forgot what these people are called. They're from the eyeless chick, Lord, at Adadze. Wow. I'm
Oh
really
yeah,
down
yeah.
to, I
The
wrote the
Empire,
thing.
the Empire is Zafira. So
Thank you,
Z
Zafira.
A. There we go.
Because I'm going like, you see how much writing we done? You see how much, and I can't keep track of everything. That's why I have to ask Desmond. Hey, I know I wrote this part. What is it called again? it's like it's like when I stop writing stuff down, I'm going like, crap. What was that called again?
Man, let me say, like, it's been really good, man. I've been enjoying the whole process for sure. Um, and I'm not going to remember everything either. That's the reason why we got Obsidian, because like I'll be going back there too. Like, okay, what I write here, especially with the death of the civilizations that we have. So like he created Savarov, and then I started adding more information to it, almost as if like it was like you mentioned earlier, a D&D campaign. Because
And I do not have it committed to memory. I do not have it committed to memory.
and I don't think you should either. I mean, I got trading routes. I have the like what specifically what they trade, how they trade it,
Mhm.
their livestock, all that stuff. Because I'm like, eventually, when you write more books, all that's gonna become important. So I'm just gonna.
Yeah, I'm
I'm,
going like, I'm glad you keeping note of it, because I'm trying to keep note of my plot. And I'm
right.
going like, Lord, and I got to mix this into the greater plot, when before it was just a standalone book, and I'm going like, crap, I have to rewrite that ending, don't I?
Uh, did you have to rewrite it now, or you mean before?
I ain't got there yet, but
Oh, okay.
yeah, that's just a thought I had like yesterday. I said, crap, I got to rewrite that ending, don't I?
You know what? And let me show them this too, though. So just kind of adding on to the what we're just talking about, Savaroth and what he created. I'm gonna show you guys like, okay, so obviously um, there's beast folk in there. So Koran didn't originally have that. So since it's coming to Valor, we had to add the beast folk into there. That was a complicated process, because then I had to go back to those chapters and like start weaving that into.
Exactly. I keep on going like, hey, yo, I wrote this. I wrote this new chapter. Can you go in and see if anything needs to be like fixed or tweaked? Because I'm still writing like it's a one shot, because that's what my outline is saying. And I'm going like, at least Desmond can just like go back and fix stuff. So I ain't really got to worry about that. He goes like, hey, in chapter 5, this happens, and I'm going like, oh, thank you for catching that. And then one part in the fight I just finished, he go like, I had to change this line because it contradicted what it said in the prologue. And I'll go like,
Oh yeah, yeah.
you know what? I didn't even catch that. Wow, thank you.
Oh yeah, and there's a couple of times because it said Orisha, so I had to change it to the actual name of
I
the
forgot to do that.
the Nikarai. Yeah, yeah. So every time it said Orisha, I just went through and started changing it back.
And I'm going like, you see, all these people that talk about writing is easy, it ain't.
Right, right. It doesn't matter what tools you're using, because like especially this is like pretty much like epic fantasy, right? So if you got now, I don't know how Tolkien did. That guy was a beast. Okay, mad respect to those C.S. Lewis, all these other guys who made epic fantasies, because how they did without computers, without Obsidian and all these. That I mean, I there's nothing but respect. So
Every time I hear a testimonial from other writers, they always say, "Oh, they got notebooks full of stuff," and I'm going like, "How do you exactly, babe? Two are better than one." Like every time you hear like a collaboration between authors, they produce a better story. Case in point, Death Note. That's
oh
two
really?
people.
I didn't even know that. Right. I didn't even know that. Let
And
me show.
the manga I love, Bakuman, also made by them. They're talking about the manga industry. And again, they're just using their own experiences. And that's what I feel like a collaboration should be. I want to do this. I need your help. All right. How can we meet in the middle? Not, nah, I need to be paid, fam. See, I need the royalties and Oh goodness, can I share with you a collaboration horror story?
Oh yeah.
So yeah, my series Azure Epic has been like waylaid since 2012, and it's just recently that I just said, "Screw it, I'm going to write this as a book," and I finished a book of it. But before that, the artist of it, one of the original artists, this man sat up here trying to basically scam me out of it by bringing it to a French publisher. Again, I don't know French. And were it not for my wife and me telling her, translate everything they say to the word, do not mince words, do not switch what they're saying, tell me exactly what they're saying, they would have took Azure Epic. Because this man sitting up here talking about, as the artist, he deserves everything because he's the artist. And I was only going to give 500 euros for the whole project. But I'd still have to be writing stuff. And him, basically, everything that's supposed to come out of Azure Epic, he would get majority of that, if not all. And I'm going like, yeah, no, I'm walking away.
Right. Yeah, I got mad respect for illustrators, but I don't think there's a lot of respect for the writers. You got writing is not easy. I mean, all the stuff you had to put together. I mean, you're basically creating something out of nothing, and then of course the illustrator is taking those same ideas and making that into visual reality. So you need both in order to make something. So the idea that you didn't get as much as the illustrator get, that's insane to me. I mean, you guys both deserve that because you guys both doing this much work. But
because literally all he did was just draw. I created the lore, the characters, how the series should go 3 times because I had to do 3 continuities to make up for what an artist messed up and didn't want to continue. Yes, Ashley, and welcome. Yes, it is going to keep happening because they'll just sit up there from their ivory towers. I'm not trying to sound like a hater or bitter. This is just observation. I'm past that. They sit from ivory towers because people are more amenable to look at something than read. And then, so they'll sit up there from ivory towers, like in a Reddit post I saw the other day for writers seeking artists to work with. They literally said the best thing you can do is learn to draw. And I'm going like, oh, gee, like we haven't thought of that before. Because not everybody has the talent, the patience, or just the know-how to sit and learn to draw. And then it's going to take years for you to even get to a point where you feel like you can start producing consistent sequential art.
Right. And let me answer Ashley as well, like, because I think this is a good point right here. Writing is extremely, well, I would say extremely hard. It feels like cheating when you use AI. And let me say this too, though, because a guy who has experience, obviously, background and everything else like that with AI, there are people out there, a lot of people out there who think like you just press a button and all of a sudden you get like this 5-star masterpiece. That background ain't easy.
But I would just say right now, for those who write, I see AI as a production tool. It like helps you with a lot of stuff, but it's not the end all be all, because you can't just press a button and you get something that's ready to publish. No, you got to go through and make sure it matches your vision, make sure that it sounds right, and just make sure you're satisfied with it. And now these anti-AI shields are up there talking about, oh, if you use an EM dash, you're using AI. And I'm going like, so you didn't pay attention at all in English comprehension, did you? Because that's something you learned the first week.
And also, let me say this.
Ashley. Ashley said she tried to draw and she sounded really bad. Dang.
Let me say this too, though, on that point, because when there are people out there who are extremely lazy, and what I mean by that is that they'll try to use AI and just like start pushing stuff. This is a known thing. For us, it's not like that. So we write our stuff, and of course, AI helps us keep everything together as well. But we write our stuff. I don't think AI should be used as a replacement for human beings. I think if you You use it as a way to, elevate yourself. You don't use it as a way to replace yourself. So, like, for example, Ashley, I'm kind of like you in this sense where I can't draw the background. That everything I draw will look more like manga. But that background back there fits the story I'm creating. So I write the story. I do all the work. I do all the, as far as like, conceptualizing the characters and all that. And after that, I throw it to the AI. It's like, okay, now create this for me. Create the character for me. So they'll render the picture for me. And after that, I'll go through Photoshop and that sort of thing, kind of do little touch-up details and that sort of thing. And that's how I make my background. But
you give it the blueprint. It's not doing it completely for you.
Right. AI is supposed to be exactly. And this is the reason why I'm more transparent about my AI use, is because I want people to know, okay, this is what I'm using and this is how I'm using it. Because I know there's a lot of people out there who are scared, like, okay, is this all AI? Let me tell you, I tried to see if this is possible. You can't make a 500-page book with AI. You can't do it.
Over the course of time, you can, but not right off the bat. No.
And even then, you got to do all sorts of editing, all that. Like, no, I'd rather just write the story and then just have them like, okay, help me keep this all, connected, whatever. That's about it.
And some artists have literally just kept on saying, well, you need to pay me, or you shouldn't be using AI. You need to go get a real artist. And I just go like, give me money. I'll go get one right now. Because you're acting like they're cheap.
Right.
I met some artists that literally quoted me $1,000 for not only their time, but a sketch.
Yeah.
I'm going like, you expect me to pay the equivalent of rent for a sketch?
Yeah, it's like, I'm trying to, I would like to have more human illustrators added into this, but kind of like how we're doing it, right? I didn't, TG didn't, ask for payment. I didn't ask for payment for him. We're just coming together out of a love for creating something, right? And if there was an illustrator that came along and said like, hey, I want to join in, that'd be great. Like, let's go ahead and do it together. And
for example, my friend Connie, she asked me for my help recently and said, we can't pay. And I said, I wasn't trying to get paid from y'all. I'm fine to help you. I asked for your help in return, but I'm fine to help you. Like, if you come to me correct, I'll help you. Right. But if you're up there expecting me to like just save your career, you're gonna break me off something,
Like my whole thing with this is like, all those people who come together. There's another brother who does 3D printing. He's been going through some stuff right now, but eventually he wants to go ahead and start making like little statues and stuff like that of the characters we have. And he's not charging me anything either. So my whole thing is like, look, if this thing becomes big, right, we're all putting our money into this and our time and our effort. If this becomes big, we all win, right? It's not just one person winning and everyone else losing. We're all either going to go together or we fall together. I mean, I think that's
why I got to pay you money for us to get started when we're trying to reach the same goal, but I'm paying you money to, get the wheels going, and you living fat off the hog while I'm struggling to keep going.
Right. And just kind of show you guys too, though, because these kind of like blew up as well. Let me see if I can find this really quick, because we've been going on for an hour. I was only expecting 30 minutes, to be honest with you. But I appreciate everyone who's sticking around and talking and engaging. This is a lot more than what I thought, because you remember what I said. I was like, hey, ain't nobody gonna come in and show up. Well,
and then here we got people dropping in, and I'm going like, oh yeah, I need to share this around. And right. Pro, thanks for coming. That's Super Saturday Morning. That's a Discord server I'm in. Pro.
Oh, that's what's up. Hey, welcome, man. Welcome. And let me show this. Now, this is just a concept. So this is what another brother of mine, he's going to start doing, but you guys can kind of see. So we're going to do one for Koran as well, but you guys can kind of see we're going to do like these little statuettes. And we're going to kind of like offer that during the Kickstarter as well. Probably like a second Kickstarter, because right now, just focus on getting the book out. But this is the concept of what we're trying to get out. And so eventually, once the book is created, I would like to do deluxe editions like this here. So I got a company who's willing to work with me on that. So yeah. And at the time, like I said, Koran will be doing the same thing, and we're just gonna keep on writing the story, because it's going to build up to be something really, really special.
I remember you asked me the other night, how long did you say Koron was going to be? And I said about 300 pages and change. It said, oh, yeah, okay. And then I kept on saying, why am I worried? This is indie, not published. Well, not trad published. Because like I always like was trying to like make sure it fits within this little box so that they won't say, oh, it's too long, didn't read. And I'm going like, you must not like reading because I keep seeing people want stuff like that. And then I just
You know,
remember, oh yeah, indie. I don't have to worry about that.
that's actually what I was worried about when I was writing the Burrow and the Blade, because right now it's at 568 pages, and I'm like, is this too long? And but people, but I got this going through beta readership, and the beta readers are like, no, this is great, I love it. So I'm like, all right,
And
hey,
then we remember that Brandon Sanderson exists.
no, I'm not on there. It's not going to be like him. All respect, but I can't write like that dude, and it won't be as long as his either. And like his explanations, I think they're one of a kind. I think there are certain things that's just notable to a particular author that you can't quite replicate and you shouldn't replicate. I think that's kind of like theirs and theirs alone. But that's just me personally.
Yeah, I'm doing the same thing, Darian, with my other project, Grimoire, because I just finished the first novella for that to explain something. But yeah, for each project, I develop a sort of writing style that would match that. So, you don't say certain stuff in this genre like you would in another genre. Like writing Koron, I had to develop like a more visceral style of description than I would for Grimoire, which is more fairy tale, but I want to say darker, but not as brutal.
Right.
Like I literally wrote a scene where somebody got their head yanked off in Grimoire.
You know what? I think there's a way you can actually mix it, because I know that people say, there's a certain way you have to rate certain things, but I think there's a way you can mix those if you wanted to. You had to be very creative. But
I did fine with Grimoire because I did not, because I go into like a fugue state while I'm writing, and I'm like almost like kind of passing out because I'm just letting my brain go, and then I have to come back and fix that. Go like, wow, did I really write that? And then the following page, a character who's supposed to be like a spiritual leader is quoting scripture, and I'm going like, didn't I just write somebody's head getting yanked off?
I mean, it's fantasy. I mean, in fantasy, those things happen. I mean, there's a few sessions like that in my own book where it's just like, they're quoting scripture, talking about God, and then all this violence start popping off, whatever. Because at the end of the day, like these worlds that we create, they're not utopias. They're like they're struggles, just like we struggle here in real life, And they're trying to figure out.
I've been obsessed with writing worlds of consumption, not like worlds that are ruined, worlds that are in the state of being consumed. Like for some reason, I just got obsessed with like the background of Elden Ring, even though I am not touching that game.
Why not?
I value my sanity. Because I'm going like, if you're up there with games like that, I like being able to just cut loose and fight. I don't want to be like taking note of how much stamina I got. Like in Black Myth Wukong, I had to mod in more dodging mechanics because I'm going like, I can figure out what to do better if I'm able to dodge. I don't want to be timing my dodges, then hoping, oh crap, I hope I can dodge before he does something again.
No, I love games like that, man. That's my thing for sure. And let me see here, because we're at 1 hour, almost 30 minutes. So we'll close up at like 1:30. But is there any more you want to like share as far as like Koron or ideas for the next? Well, actually, ideas for the next story after that. You don't want to give out too much, but if you have any ideas you want to share, you can.
It ain't that I don't want to give it too much. I don't think I got like I don't know what to go next. Like I'll figure it out when I get to the end. Right. I like Elden Ring, Darian. Just I don't like getting beat up all the time. It's like when everybody said Ninja Gaiden was difficult, but it was not at all difficult to me because you know why? I can cut loose in it. I'm not afraid of getting jumped because I reverse jump people in that. But
Oh,
with Koron, I want to see him fight more monsters. So if anything, I'll write a plot surrounding that. It's more like I write what I want to see.
yeah.
Koron, I wanted this to be like the start of his journey. If anything, I wanted this to be a trilogy. So I'm just trying to figure out how his trilogy would run alongside the Burrow and the Blade.
Yeah.
So concurrent works. That's going to be a challenge.
Oh, yeah. Trust me. I know. Because, like, I'm partly writing the second book right now. Partly. And so that's the second book right there. And of course, the main character in that one will be Lily, who was actually with Babe X, and she finds herself in another place. I'm not going to give you guys details of that, but I'm working on it right now.
So
And
I would say Koron would be in the background of this.
as a matter of fact, I was going to say the Savarothian people are, and this is actually taking place a little bit before the ending. Well, actually, like somewhere midway of Koron's story. So they're crossing the Sea of the Hollow Tides to get over to Calador. And they, of course, they talk about the feline people. Can we ask them for help and that sort of thing? In Koron's story, some of those same people go over, but the feline people are like, no, we don't want y'all. We got our own problems, right? Just how cats are. Cats are selfish, right? So
cats are selfish and finicky.
Right. So they're having issues with these people coming over. But anyway, that's in the works right now. That's definitely in the works right now. I also wanted to show some things about Jamora as well that I helped develop. So, like I said, there's supposed to be some beast folk in there.
He just went in on these people.
I'm gonna show just a little bit of it. So, obviously, there's some inspiration from, like, for example, Lion King, right? So
I was about to say, if you're not familiar with this animal, it's what Timon is, a meerkat.
Right? I had to go ahead and add them in there. I said it only makes sense if I do add them in there.
Because Jamar is supposed to be based on Africa, so
right. A lot of African lore, a lot of African monsters and that sort of stuff that was in myth. So we've added that into Jamora's landscape. You also have different birds that are native to Africa as well. So I've been working on that. Here's a Karen bound right here, and they're Karen bound. They're gonna be working with the Pascar actually. So I'm gonna show you guys a little bit of that real quick.
And I said they look like the Razak from Aragon because it's literally like that, but just wearing hoods. Like they look like vulture people,
right? And then you have the more noble, this is based on the African fish eagle. So if you guys want to look up that bird, that's basically what this particular Aaron is based on. So there are people called the Aaron. All bird folk inside Vaelora is called Aaron. And then also, of course, you have the burrow folk, right? Africa has its own rodents. So I found like the African goat and hamster, for example. I was like, yep, I'm gonna use them, right? I just started looking up stuff. I'm like, yep, this is perfect. This is great. I'm using it.
He like sent this to me in the middle of the night, and I'm going like, gerbil people? I just like looked at it, and I had to like blink twice. I said, gerbil people? Okay. I just don't want them to get slaughtered. It's like the cuter the people look, the more I'm afraid for them.
It's kind of like those anime where you just have like I can't think of it. So like in One Piece, you have like, what was that little deer character?
Chopper.
Yeah, Chopper. Yeah, people don't want Chopper to get hurt with anything, but he a beast too in his own right. I remember him fighting. So I had to add something like that in there. Let me see here. There was something else I wanted to share with you guys, but I probably ain't got it. Oh, here we go. Let me show you guys this as well. So obviously, again, based on African animals, whatnot, you got the hyena people, hyenae, and then of course.
Shut your mouth, Darian. We're not doing bug people.
Actually,
this man done made it already. Oh Lord, this man done made it already.
I had to.
I ain't writing them parts, all right? I'm just say that I ain't writing them parts unless Koron smashing something. No, pause. Wait, no. Unless he's breaking, you know what? Unless he's killing some of them.
He might have to. So If you guys are familiar with like StarCraft or Warhammer, you guys know about the Tyranids or the
No, you don't.
Berserk.
No, you don't.
Wait,
No, you
wait,
don't. You
what's
better
that?
not. You better not.
I've added something like that into the story. If you so in the book that I made for my grandbaby, or I said grandbaby, my godbaby, Audrey, I made her own story where she's actually dealing with that particular group, that infestation. And so let me show you guys this really quick. Let me take this down really quick. So it reads, I can still hear the clicking, a salt-choked tide cave. I thought we'd hide the goods there, but when we went inside, the eggs, there were so many eggs. Then it came, the Krizrak, and poor Annie took her. God, that scream cut off by breath that scraped the bone. And of course, in the actual story, Arya, which is based on my godbaby, she is investigating what happened to these smugglers because they took stuff they shouldn't have taken. So she's there with two of her other companions, and they find this cave, and they see like what should be a girl, but it's not a girl. It's one of these things right here. And so these things threaten to take over the rest of the continent if they don't stop them soon. So they ended up setting the whole cave on fire. But this is actually not the only nest. There's actually more nests that she has to figure out and see where they're at.
Darian, have you seen a butterfly up close? Talking about imagine butterfly people.
You know what? You might hate Darian after a while because you just gave me an idea.
You know what? After the crap I've seen in Berserk, I'm not surprised because there was a story arc with children turned into bug demons thingies.
You know what? I might have to do something with that. Maybe because there's like 6 continents out there. So on one of those continents, it can definitely happen. I can definitely see that happening. So
let me know which ones I need to blow up because I will literally write a novella with them blowing them up.
Hey, Darren, if you got any other great ideas, man, let me know. That way I can freak out TD over here.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Let me see. I'm just trying to see if anyone else out there. Okay, well, I think we're good. I'm gonna end off with showing this this other video, and then after that, we have some closing thoughts. We can go ahead and share that as well. So let me post this here really quick. Hold on, really quick, y'all.
And if y'all have any questions, feel free to ask them.
Oh yeah. So this one here is the Feast of Ash.
We were warned. Oh, blessed Ailerin, we were warned. Aye, they came in whispers first, like wind through bone. The Pasgar, they said, beastkin gone mad, cannibals, ravagers. We laughed. We called them swine with spears. How foolish. Aye, how arrogant we were. We were the Empire, Unveiled, crowned in sun and silver. Who could stand against the Sapphire Wall? Who could breach the gates of Vaelora? Our banners caught the morning light. Our sons bore steel, blessed by the flame-bearers of Ignavar. Our daughters rode in silver helms, blessed of the church. We were glory. We were blind. Mayhap this be punishment from Ailerin himself, for we did not heed the small rodent that came to tell us. Aye, how we deceived ourselves with our own pride.
They'll laugh. Of course they'll laugh. I'm too small, too soft, too loud when I shouldn't be. But I saw them. boars with flame in their eyes, the smell of rotten iron, mothers dragging kits into cellars that won't hold. And still they trade coin. Still they drink in towers and toast banners that mean nothing in the mud.
Despite our hatred for the beast folk, despite our jeers and laughter at her, she was filled with compassion and pleaded with us to listen.
Hey guys, this is Desmond, the creator of the Sagas of Vaelora, and thank you for watching the trailer. Please check out the Facebook, Instagram, and also our Substack, and the book, The Burrows and Bloody, will be out pretty soon. Stay tuned and keep watching.
Please, please, no, please, please, no.
So yeah, that was it for that. That again, that was just showing like this is like probably like 3,000 years even before the current story and whatnot. I just wanted to show little bits and pieces of the wider world in its history.
So it's our Knights of the Old Republic.
Basically, yeah. I'm trying to like conceptualize everything, over time. So that way, when we start writing the actual books for these things or different parts of the lands or continents, whatever, we already have the lore already there for us. So that's kind of like my thought pattern for that.
Hey, should we tell them about Beacon Realm Publishing?
Oh yeah. Go ahead. That was your baby right there. Go ahead, tell them more about that.
Basically, Beacon Realm Publishing just came from saying, all these people are publishing indie. Why don't we make our own publishing imprint? So we came up with Beacon Realm Publishing, saying that you're a beacon on the mountaintop to be seen from Scripture. So, and where do you have the logo? How it looks?
Oh, hold on one second. I can get that real quick. I was just using it. Where was it at? Where is it at? Oh, here we go. Got it. Hold on one second, y'all. So I took out the background, the black background, just made it transparent so that we can keep using it for everything else. Well, yeah, that's what we're using right there. So we got Baybex there on the left, we got Colran on the right, just like representing our first two books. And so, yeah, Beacon Realm Publishing, that's what we're going to come up with and see how this thing grows. Because over time, like I said, it seems like people really enjoy what we got cooking. So
Marion said that scene is like the horror version of that one cartoon where the pigs took over, and she means Animal House. She means Animal House.
I think I've seen that at least once. Yeah.
Because I told her about this one part where like the pigs were straight up lying about a character who died, and I got to take off my glasses to do this because it's all in their eyes. Talk about, oh, he was such a good person at the end. That's literally how he did.
I'm gonna look at that again though. I'm looking at it again because it's been a while since I've seen that.
Because it's like just seeing that cartoon suddenly he's going like justice, and I'm going like, bro, you lying.
Right. Mm-hmm. Nah, the pigs are definitely horrifying. Like you kind of think about them in real life. The reason why they even came about was because of the boar problem that's in the United States. So it's like tons of them just running around, just wild, damaging crops and that sort of thing. So I was like, yeah, there's my orcs right there.
Mm-hmm.
So
it was a new definition to leading a pig to slaughter.
Oh yeah. There's so many different ideas that came from just random stuff. Even like the bug people. I mean, we all, some of us who dealt with a cockroach problem before. I was like, you know what? That's one of my horrors right there. So let me just go ahead and throw that in there too. That's how it works. That's basically how this whole thing is coming about. It's just our ideas, like things we may experience, just tossing it in there. It's just like making a soup. It's like, oh, that sounds good. Just toss it in there. Oh, carrots, potatoes. I like it. Put it in there.
Exactly.
It's just about having fun, man. That's what it's all about. If you ain't having fun, then you ain't doing it. You ain't doing it right. So
exactly.
Yeah. So yeah. Any closing thoughts though? We've been going an hour 30 minutes. Like I said, I only expected 30 minutes. And let me just say, I appreciate everybody who came through. Those who are watching on different streams. We got TD's channels, the Trade Station 64 on Twitch. We got of course my YouTube channel, and of course the Facebook page as well. So I do appreciate everybody who came on through, and yeah, that's been great.
And same to y'all, especially everybody who's been watching my stuff. And I'm still surprised that so many of y'all support me, So especially when I think I don't get much of anything. Because like I just how can I say? I just hope y'all like all the stuff I've been working on for the past 6 months. Because I've been working very hard on it. That's why y'all don't really see me on social media.
Yeah. That's one thing. I was watching this video. They were saying how authors nowadays, they have to do more as far as like promoting themselves, so like doing live streams, videos, all this sort of stuff. So a lot of times the reason why we don't really see the people who enjoy our stuff is because we don't really connect with them like we should. So this is just one of those ways you can actually see like visually, like, oh, yeah, I got people out there,
Thanks for staying, Darian.
Yeah, the more people see your face more, man, the more you're making yourself known. I think it'll be a lot easier getting your works out there too. So yeah, just keep, like I said, keep the faith. You know what God called you to do, and just keep writing, man. Just keep writing.
And I have to keep streaming too.
Yeah, other than that, guys, I don't have any closeout, but hopefully next time we do a live stream, I'll have like a nice, really nice opener and nice little closer. I got it from my ministry page, opening and closing, that sort of thing. So I want to do the same thing here. And we're gonna make this into something possible. And if you guys got any ideas out there, like with Darian out there with butterfly people, if you guys got any idea, let me know.
So I had to bring it up, didn't you?
Just let me know, and I'll go ahead and see if we can go ahead and put that in there. As a matter of fact, one of my beta readers, she requested weasels and stoats and ferrets. I said, I got you. So I made a race called the Slinkari, which is like, this race of like ferrets and all that, all the animals that she enjoy. And so, I think we should definitely try to, let the fans know, like the people who enjoy our work, let them know that, hey, we hear you. We want to hear your ideas. And if it's possible, put it up in there. So everyone is part of this creative process. It's not just us, the authors, but it's also those who enjoy it too. We're all in this together. So that's kind of like the community I'm trying to build. And that's something that TD is awesome with. So yeah, it's been cool.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. So anything y'all got, just throw it in and we'll work on how to make it work.
And by the way, if one of you guys is an author or an illustrator, and you guys want to like join in with us,
Darian's a writer.
Hey, Darian, man, if you want to go ahead and jump in with us, hey, let's get your book out there. They're a part of Sagas of Vaelora, maybe some other part of the world, and hey, see what can happen, man. See what can happen. That'll be pretty fun. I'm always open to other writers trying to get in and putting in their input. So I like it. I like it a lot. It's kind of like
this is how you're supposed to do community.
It's actually that's like with Warhammer. Warhammer, they allow people to submit like pieces of lore and stuff like that, and if it fits, they'll put it into the story. So it's not just them writing, but it's also the fans of the series they're writing too. So I'm like, that's a great idea. So I kind of
asked that beta reader to like write lore for the all the weasels that she wanted to see.
You know what? There's another one. Her name is Sage. She's been I would say she's been thoroughly editing my book too. I'll definitely say. I was surprised. I said I may not have to hire an editor because of her. It was her and I think Aurora and Ashley. They've been going through the book and just like, oh, wait a minute, you're missing a comma here. You got a period here. This should read this way. I'm like, you know what? I might use y'all instead. Mm-hmm. I'm like, y'all deserve some profit too then.
Because with editors, they come in with their own biases, even though they say they don't. They come in with their own biases. So the fact that fans of the stuff right now can correct it properly, that's the kind of editing you need. Oh
yeah. I always try to show my gratitude and my appreciation for people like that. Like I said, whether it's you guys taking part in the actual authorship of the books, or you guys are just sending requests, I'm always going to try to do something in order to honor those who helped us along. So, that's what it's all about. Again, that also comes from Christian values, because I believe in, appreciating God's creation. Of course, God gave us creative minds, and so I'm going to show my appreciation to those who use it for our benefit.
Darian's a believer too.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah. I saw that too. And let me just say this too, though, for those who don't believe, that's fine. If you want to help us out, again, this is a world for everybody to enjoy. So if you guys got content out there you guys want to put in, hey, like I said, you guys go ahead and submit that. We're not gonna turn that away. We're gonna look at it and see how it works. But all right. Other than that, y'all, look, like I said, I'm going to close this mug out. We're an hour and 40 minutes. You got any last words, TD, before I close this out?
Keep playing Sega games.
All right, y'all. Everyone have a good night, y'all, or good afternoon. Good afternoon, y'all.